me, superstar general, great statesman, national hero, the man who won the great Roman Civil War last year, defeating General Pompey for the leadership of Rome. Yeah, it's me, the godfather of Rome, Julius Caesar. Thanks. I just declared myself dictator for life, which means I'm in charge, well, like forever. You know, the thing is, most of the senators that don't agree with me, they're gonna be the people in charge of Rome. You see, Rome's meant to be a republic, which basically means people are voted in. But I become more like a king, you know? And I look at them and I say, you're disrespecting me. You don't pay me no respect.
The area of modern-day Italy that became the city of Rome began around 1000 BC as a small farming village by the banks of the river Tiber, inhabited by Latin settlers. This area became known as Latium and included many other Latin tribes. These tribes were ruled by kings growing into city-states, and according to tradition, on the 21st of April 753 BC, the city-state of Rome was founded. The mythical story was that Rome began when the twin brothers of the god of war Mars, Romulus and Remus, who were saved by a she-wolf, founded the city. But either way, by 300 BC, the time of the kings ruling for life had ended, and Rome had become a republic with a powerful army, and they went to war, first taking over all the little kingdoms around it, then eyeing up bigger places further afield.
Boom! So we got them cornered, finally, here at the hill fort of Alesia in northern Gallia. 80,000 Gauls led by their leader Vercingetorix. We call them Gallia Camata, which means hairy Gaul, because of their long hair and their long moustaches. Disgusting! Long hair and moustaches. What do you want long hair and moustache for? Get all that food caught in it, all covering all over your mooch. You don't need all that. As a Roman, I'm clean-shaven, keep myself in good shape, not like these hairy Gauls. Disgusting! Anyway, our leader, General Caesar, boom, top geezer. He's asked us to surround the fort. We're surrounding the fort, 60,000 of us soldiers. We call ourselves legionaries after our biggest fighting unit, the Legion. We're surrounding the fort. We're going to starve these hairy Gauls out, and they will surrender to us. Oh yeah, top geezer.
At its largest, there might have been around 500,000 soldiers in the Roman army. To keep such a large number of men in order, it was organised into groups under this general scheme. 80 men equalled 1 century, which was commanded by a centurion, who carried a special stick to beat any soldier who disobeyed an order. Within each cohort of 480 men were 6 centuries. A legion totaled 10 cohorts, but the first cohort consisted of 6 double centuries, and there were also 120 horsemen. In charge was a man called a legate. Total fighting strength was approximately 5,400 men, of commanders, officers and ordinary soldiers, as well as doctors, engineers, cooks and other workers, but they all had to fight.
We're the Roman army, we're the biggest, we're the best, we're elite, we're well armed, we're well organised, we're well good! Fighting. Machine. Geezer.
Like most empires, ancient Rome was built on the back of slaves. Men, women, boys or girls, they were considered the lowest class of society with no rights at all, and so were subject to punishment, exploitation and execution. Roman slavery was not based on ideas of race, and people were enslaved from all over Europe and the Mediterranean. A wealthy Roman might have between 400 and 500 slaves, and an emperor could have as many as 20,000. How a slave was treated depended on their owner. With a good owner, you could be looked after with decent food to eat and had a chance to earn your freedom after around 30 years of service. If you were a slave for a bad master, you could be overworked and underfed and beaten if you complained about it. As many as 1 in 3 people of the population in Italy, or 1 in 5 across the empire, were slaves.
When my owner said we were going to market, I thought, because I used to like markets back home in Gaul. I got to tell you though, my own because I don't much care for this market, don't much care at all. Because I'm what for sale? Market. I got a little tag here with the slave dealer's name and address on it and stuff, because I'm his property. See, I'm his property. That's not proper job, is it? That's not proper job being someone's property. But I'm his property, which means I got no rights at all. He can do what he wants to me. What he's doing me selling me on here at the slave market today. I'll soon have a new owner, and what he gets from me will depend on what he thinks I can do for him, you see. That's not lush, is that? Not lush at all. I might be sent to work at my new master's home. I might be sent down in the mines. That's not good. Some of the slaves down there, they don't get to see sunlight for months on end. Back-breaking work, it is back-breaking. That's not proper job, is that? No. Some of them get to work in the quarries, all digging up all the rocks and stone for all their big buildings and statues. Some working in the galley ship that's all chained to the oars so they can roll the Roman Navy boats and that. I wonder what'll happen to me. Oh, I gotta tell you, my own muckers, I best be careful. Things ain't lush. They ain't lush at all. I best be careful, me old muckers. Just to make sure those ghouls can't escape and no supplies can get in, we built a 10-mile long, 4 meters high wall around the fort. No problem for us, because we're not only great soldiers, we're great builders. Roads, forts, buildings, whatever, we can build it, because we're geezers. Julius Caesar, boom, the top geezer. Well, he's heard that 100,000 more ghouls are on their way. 100,000 more ghouls are on their way to rescue Vercingetorix's men and all the rest of them. So he's asked us to build another wall to protect us. So we're going to build another wall, 40 miles long. There's one around the fort we just built, and there's one around we've got to build to protect us. So we've got 80,000 ghouls trying to break out, and we've got 100,000 ghouls trying to break in. Us Roman soldiers are outnumbered 3 to 1, but we'll beat them. And here's why. It's because we're geezers!
A Roman soldier was part of the largest and fiercest fighting force in the world. They were trained to work as a team and could march 20 miles a day in full armour, whilst carrying around 35 kilograms of kit, which included their food, spare clothes, short spade, cooking pot, tools, their shield and weapons. A Roman soldier's sword was called a gladius. It was double-edged and was quite small and light, which made it good for stabbing and slashing in battle. Before charging into battle, a Roman soldier would hurl his spear up to 100 feet at the enemy. The spear was called a pilum and was designed to bend and lodge in an enemy's shield so they couldn't use it anymore. Their helmet was called a gallia. It had special guards to protect their cheeks and neck. Crests of different coloured plumes made from horse's hair were attached to the helmets depending on rank, but these were mainly used for ceremonies and parades. They carried a large rectangular shield known as a scutum. This was curved to help protect the soldier's body, and it had a hard iron bulge in the middle called a boss for battering their enemies in battle. Soldiers would march into battle in tight formation and would lift their shields over their heads and sides to form a protective shell. They called this formation the testudo, which is Latin for tortoise.
Oh, what a lovely day I'm having today. Super. A super day. I started the day at the baths, don't you know? Bathing is a big thing in the Roman Empire. The big fans. Nothing like a long soak in the old Roman bath, you know.
Bathing played a major part in ancient Roman culture and society, and were common features of Roman cities throughout the empire, with Romans of all classes, both rich and poor, visiting the baths each day. There they would mix freely with their fellow citizens, exercising, washing, relaxing and socialising. The baths made them feel superior to the rest of the world. They made them feel Roman.
Anyway, I've just been browsing around the Traders' Market, the world's first ever shopping mall, don't you know? Love it there. Love it. Love it, love it, super. 150 shops, 5 different levels, and I managed to get some delicious food for our dinner party we're having this evening. I guess we're enjoying some of the finest foods here in Rome. Baked dormice, peacock's veins, snails in milk, and my particular favourite, flamingo's tongue. Oh, super, 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 supercious. 9 guests, 3 courses, eaten over 8 hours. Servants, I have 20 of them, catering for our every whim. No chairs, of course, all lying down on the sloping couches. It's going to be fabulous. I can't wait, Pete.
For wealthy Romans, life was good. They lived in beautiful houses called Villa Urbana, often on the hills outside of Rome, away from the noise and smell of the city. They enjoyed an extravagant lifestyle with luxurious furnishings, surrounded by servants and slaves to cater for their every desire. Poorer Romans sweated it out in the city, living in shabby, squalid blocks of apartments called insulae, with whole families living in just 1 or 2 rooms. They were often badly built and could collapse or burn at any moment.
You know, I won against the hairy Gauls. I've been fighting against those Gauls for 8 years for the glory of Rome. I won the loyalty of the Roman army. That's me. All the people love me. They love their godfather. Yeah. You see, I built lots of lovely buildings everywhere. Lots of statues. Statues of me, of course. I have lots of public games. People getting killed for their entertainment. They love it. I love it. You know, I deserve some respect around here, and I'm gonna be in charge. And anybody who disrespects me, I'm gonna make them an offer they can't refuse.
Well, Arcady, look at that! Look at that there! Well, blow me down. I didn't expect this, but I got sold at that market. I made new owners. They've been turning me from a hairy Gaul into a fearsome old gladiator. I know, proper job, isn't it? Anyway, I've been trained at this gladiator school here for the last, must be a few months now, I think. A few months now, Ark. Me and other slaves, well, some criminals and some other captured soldiers and that. And we've been inside the gate, locked inside the walls. There's no escape from here. Arcady, no escape. We get branded off law if we try to escape. No, we kept on a lock and key. But it costs our owner a lot of money to feed us and train us and equip us, and we kept in good condition. I feel pretty good, I do, Arcady. Anyway, I gotta be able to fight well and do a proper job. We live in the barracks here too, to a cell. We train every day, all year round. With a wooden sword. You know, when we're trained, you don't hurt anybody when you're training, do you? No, that wouldn't be lush. At all. Costs a lot of money. As I say, that wouldn't be lush. Anyway, I'm getting ready for my first fight at the local amphitheatre here. We have to be careful, mind there. But first we gotta be placed in our different gladiator types, and our owner's telling us what particular gladiator we're gonna be later this afternoon. Lush, eh? Lush, not a proper job, but lush. Arcady.
The word gladiator comes from the Roman word for sword, gladius, and fights began as an ancient funeral blood sacrifice ritual to the memory of the dead. And by the time of Julius Caesar, they had been adapted into public spectacles. The fights took place in amphitheatres, in the arena, which means sandy place, with the sand covering the ground to soak up blood. There were different types of gladiator, each with different fighting styles and weaponry, and here's some of the most famous. The retiarius, armed with just a net, a long trident and a dagger. The Thracian, carried just a small shield, a curved short sword and wore a helmet. The Murmillo, armed with a Roman sword and shield, with leg and arm protection and a helmet. The Samnite had a short sword, an oblong shield and a visored helmet. The Hoplomachus, protected by a bronze helmet, an armoured right arm and armed with a spear and dagger.
My wife, of course. She didn't want a dinner party. But under Roman law, the man, and I am a very manly man, rules. I own my house and literally everything in it. My wife, my children, my slaves, everything belongs to me. I can do whatever I want with them. So, we're having the dinner party.
So, my people, look what they've done to your godfather. What have they done to him, Julius Caesar, the great man? I was on the way to the Senate this morning, and a lot of the senators come out on the steps there, including my close friend Brutus, and they kill me. They kill your godfather, Julius Caesar. They stabbed me 23 times. I mean, what have I ever done to make them treat me so disrespectfully? So me, great man Julius Caesar, I'm dead. About 70 of the Senators have been conspiring against me. They think I've become too powerful. But let me tell you, the worst is yet to come. They think I'm bad. The worst is yet to come. And let me give you a message, senators. Revenge is a dish best served cold. Capiche? And that's an offer you can't refuse. Yeah, I got a headache. See you later.
In response to Caesar's death, his great-nephew and heir, Gaius Octavius, fought off his rivals to achieve total power. In 27 BC, he was named the first ever emperor of Rome, Emperor Augustus, which means the Great One. He restored peace and prosperity and was a generous leader, and the first of a long line of a mixed bag of over 140 emperors had begun, some great, some good, many bad, and some just plain crazy. Caligula was the third Roman emperor, beloved by all at first, but after a serious bout of illness he became crazy, wicked and cruel. He made himself a god and made an attempt to invade Britain, but instead declared war on the English Channel and told his troops to attack the waves with their swords. Claudius, the fourth emperor, who finally conquered Britain in 43 AD, and to celebrate he rode an elephant through the city of Colchester. He was seen as weak and was ridiculed by his own family, and had 4 scheming wives, each of them more terrible than the last. Nero, the fifth Roman emperor, a brutal ruler. He had his own mother and wife put to death, and thousands executed, and was seen as a tyrant by his own subjects. He was deeply insecure and needed constant approval, and thought of himself as a living god.
Anyway, the two main events of the day are firstly a visit to the Circus Maximus, Rome's great chariot racetrack. I can't wait for that, seeing all those men running up and down in their chariots. And 250,000 people fit inside the Circus Maximus, 24 races a day, 8 kilometers is the track. And I'll be cheering for my favourite team. If that wasn't enough, we've also got tickets this evening to see some lovely young men fighting in the Colosseum. Most exciting. Super.
The building of the massive stone amphitheatre known as the Colosseum began around 72 AD and was commissioned by Emperor Vespasian as a gift to the Roman people. It was built by 60,000 slaves, with Vespasian's son and heir Emperor Titus opening the Colosseum in 80 AD with 100 days of games. There was seating for more than 50,000 spectators, arranged according to social ranking. Across the next 400 years, over 400,000 people and 1 million animals died fighting for their lives inside its walls.
But anyway, I'm still standing, or better than I ever did, looking like a true survivor, and I'm feeling like a little kid. Arcady, and our owner, he's taking us off to Rome itself, and here we are, in the mighty famous Colosseum itself. 100 days of games they got, and I'm here with the rest of the lads, fighting for the entertainment of the crowd. Now if I survive this afternoon and don't get chopped into bits, which I'm hoping that wouldn't be lush, would it? That wouldn't be lush at all. If I survive that, well, tomorrow they're going to flood the whole arena like a great big lake, couple of big ships for in it, and I'm going to be pretending to be a soldier. We're going to have a great big pretend bat, and if I survive that, the day after, we've got a wild animal hunt. We've got lions and tigers, and now we got elephants, and also fearsome great big gerbils. Not really, only joking with you on that last part, but we got all the other things anyway. Anyway, quieten down, because we got to do our traditional call out to the emperor himself sitting up there. So let me just get my helmet on here. Put this on here. All right, lads, all the lads are lining up, and we're going to raise our right hand up in the air like this, and we say out the immortal words to the emperor. Hail Caesar, we who are about to die, salute you. Look at that glory. Arcady, winning is all that matters. If you lose, you die. So fight, conquer, and live. It's a proper job. But if you die, it ain't lush at all. Not lush at all. Well, the games begin!
The first 200 years of the Roman Empire was called the Pax Romana, which means Roman peace. It was a time of great prosperity for the Romans, but the empire slowly began to fall apart and was constantly under attack from other tribes in Europe. The trouble was, the empire just got bigger and bigger and harder to run. It was divided into west and east, but by 476 AD, the last Roman Western emperor was overthrown. But the empire would continue in the east for another 1,000 years.